Gen Z and Gen Alpha are two unique generations of the 21st century that have grown up with technology. Of course, as Gen Alpha is born after Gen Z, they are even more used to a digital world. Both of them have grown up on the internet, watching videos, playing games, and exploring the web, which leads to them developing different learning patterns. Their brain is used to better perceiving content that is short and straightforward. Even if I am now saying this as if they are the same generations of people, here are the key differences between them. Gen Z grew up alongside the rise of the internet and social media, which means most of them experienced technology in their teenage years, so after early development. For Gen Z, platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat are central for self expression, entertainment, and connecting with their peers. In contrast, Gen Alpha is the first generation to grow up truly AI and technology native. Their relationship with technology centers on immersive, interactive experiences that at times happen in a fully digital format, and that's because they were born after the digitalization process began. Firstly, for both generations, technology is not optional. It is integral for their daily lives and learning processes. According to Christopher Paula Ramirez in his research from 2018, a significant portion of Gen Z identify as digital device addicts. Therefore, rather than restricting devices in educational settings, effective practice involves integrating them thoughtfully into lessons. Keeping the older methods of learning appears irrelevant into these young people's eyes if everything else is digital and fast. Teachers cannot fight against reality, they just have to follow the contemporary world's ways. Now, let's go on. Ramirez notes that Generation Z learners have an average online attention span of approximately 8 seconds. Long, uninterrupted lectures are unlikely to maintain their engagement. We'll see how to tackle this in just a minute. They expect instant feedback and immediate access to information, mirroring the immediacy they experience in their daily interactions with technology. This might sound to you like these are really bad habits or signs of laziness, but in reality, it's a much deeper story. Jonathan Hyde, who has written extensively about the impact of technology on young people, argues that constant digital stimulation can fragment attention and contribute to anxiety. But instead of labeling Gen Zs or Gen Alphas short attention spans or need for constant stream of content as simply bad, Hyde's perspective pushes us to see these behaviors as symptoms of a digital environment that they didn't choose but must navigate. It's not that they're inherently less focused, their brains are adapting to a hyper-connected world. As educators, our job is to acknowledge that reality and design learning that works with, not against, how they process information daily. So, how should we teach them? Gen Z is comfortable with digital learning but value hybrid models and authentic content as if they're learning from their peers. Gen Alpha are similar, but also highly interactive and expect bite sized learning. We will look deeper into Gen Alpha for this reason. To effectively engage Generation Alpha, we must first recognize and build upon their strengths. They are not only digitally fluent, but also remarkably adaptable. These learners navigate new tools and environments very easily, and they expect technology to be part of their learning experience. For this reason, it is essential to know how to use digital tools like gamified lessons, online learning platforms, online quizzes, and games or VR and AR. However, technology alone is not enough. Instructions should be clear, concise, visually rich, and interactive. Short, focused lessons supported by visual media and real-time feedback are more likely to capture and sustain their attention. In addition, learning experiences should foster creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration. Personalization is also key. Adaptive learning technologies can help tailor educational content to meet the individual pace and interests of each student, ensuring that no learner is left behind, and also that they're interested in the class that they're taking because it resonates with them. At the same time, we must maintain a balanced approach. While digital engagement is crucial, we must preserve opportunities for human interaction, dialogue, and reflection. Face to face collaboration, mentorship, and periods of focused offline work are essential to developing deep thinking and social emotional skills, as this is actually the Gen Alpha weakness. The lack of meaningful human interactions at a young age, which happens because everyone in the world these days spends a lot more time of their day in the virtual world. The author of The Anxious Generation, Jonathan Hyde, talks about this in Gen Z, but it's obviously present in Gen Alpha as well. That's the switch from play-based childhood to a phone-based one. He believes this phone-based childhood disrupts normal social development, sleep patterns, and attention, contributing significantly to mental health crisis in Gen Z. Hyde calls for a collective response, delaying smartphone use, limiting social media access during adolescence, and restoring in-person play and school-based relationships as central to healthy development. So, what does this mean? This means that teachers carry a big responsibility to contribute to the new generation's proper development, but in modern ways. So, always leave some time for learning.